All right.
Hello and welcome.
So Lewis and I, we have been given the privilege of announcing 12 different gala performers for different shows, performers for many different things on this year's EJC. And we're going to interview them. We're going to have an interview every single week until the EJC. And these people are performing in groups. They are doing solo acts. It's on the gala show. It's on completely different venues, and it's juggling and it's not juggling. It's many different things, and we're so excited for it and to learn about their act and also about them as people. So please enjoy all of the following interviews where Lewis and I try our best to make an interesting conversation with the performers. Enjoy. Bah! All right, so now it's time for the next gala performer reveal for the EJC. This person is a great friend of ours, of me and Lewis. We have met many times over many years. He was also a part of the juggling film that me and Lewis made way back called Corrections. And this guy is a great club juggler, a great ring juggler, a great ball juggler, and can do so many other things as well. And we are, of course, talking about Joe Fischer. Welcome, Joe.
Hello. How are you?
Hello. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay, Joe. So now we're going to go into the act that you're going to have at the EJC Gala. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering, what can we as viewers expect to see?
Ooh, I mean, should I dance around or should I not?
You
How
choose.
much do you want me to reveal what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a club juggling act
Okay.
that I have performed for a few years now. I did it for the very first time, actually. I did an early version of it at an EJC open stage in Spain a few years ago. And since I've made a few changes and I've performed it a lot in a few other shows. So it's a club juggling act with 3 and 5 clubs that I really like performing. It feels very representative of what I like to do in a juggling act.
And
Okay.
what's that?
Oh,
Is that maybe that
It's-
question's a bit long-winded?
I put it together with the goal of making something that was entertaining but maintained its integrity, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because that is a crossroads in juggling and circus that I've always really respected. Like, I think in circus we're making spectacles still. Like, that's a key part. Like, people have reinterpreted what circus means and what you can communicate through circus, and I think there's lots of interesting things going on. But at the end of the day, what I think something that differentiates circus from a lot of other art forms is that at its core is like spectacle. Someone watching is going to go, "Oh wow," as often their first reaction before anything else, just involuntarily, because no matter what you're communicating through circus technique, it's stuff that other people can't do.
Yeah.
Something I really like in a good circus act is like when someone can lean into being a bit dramatic and a bit entertaining and capitalizing a bit on that "oh wow" response without being insincere or derivative.
Mm.
And that's what I've attempted. I don't know how successfully, but that's what I've attempted to do with this act. It's a bit melodramatic.
How do you
it's a lot of
work
fun
with that to figure out the balance?
I think you just have to be honest. I think you have to make what you like. Something I did, I think we've all been down this road, is like trying to outthink your audience. Like we all think about, like from the second we start juggling, we're taught to think about what does an audience want to see.
Yeah.
And hey, don't do this 5-ball side swap on stage. You should do chops instead because audiences love chops. And I think we're taught to like think of our audiences as idiots.
Yeah.
And we're taught to try and play the game of chess and get ahead of them. And I've got I was lucky to get some very good advice from Jay Gilligan, pretty early in my career, who just rightfully pointed out that that's a losing game. If you're trying to outthink your audience, like, not only are you unfairly considering them as idiots, like, you're also just not going to win. You're not going to successfully predict what they're going to want to see at all times. So instead, you just have to make what you want to see.
Wow.
Trust that you have
Cool.
some level of taste.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I like that
was
a
a long
lot.
answer to your question.
That's a great
Yeah.
answer. Yeah.
What has kind of been the most difficult parts of creating this act?
Good question. It depends on what you mean by most difficult, I think. Because I think making this act, and this goes for a lot of things I make, it takes a long time and it takes a very short time. The juggling in this act came together over the course of about 2 years or a little longer. A lot of the 3 club material in the act is stuff that I developed.
Yeah,
you know,
so it's
during COVID.
like the tricks in a way.
Yeah, like the tricks. And
Getting the tricks to a
sequences.
certain level.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
whole sort of movement style and movement language. And I wasn't making it with a specific act in mind, but I was training, whenever I was training clubs during 2 years, I was just chilling at home during COVID. Like, I was aware that I was making everything kind of in a similar world. All the 3 club stuff I was making was all in a similar movement world. And I knew it would all, like, one day it's all going to get used somehow, somewhere.
Yeah.
And then, so all this stuff was bubbling away for 2 years. And then the act itself I made in about a month, because I was living in Vegas at the time, and I was about to go away for 3 months and do a couple of other contracts with solo acts, and I hadn't performed solo for a while. And I knew I wanted to do a new act. And so I found a piece of music, spent 2 months making a clubs act to that piece of music, decided I didn't like it. The next day, my friend recommended me this particular song, and then I spent a month instead just absolutely blitzing everything together, going through video from the last 2 years and pulling it all together and making this act. So I think the hardest part was finding the right music.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's something I always feel very frustrated by. For better or for worse, my process is very led by music.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have never had success seeking out music for an act. You just got to wait till it comes along.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel very frustrated at that feeling involuntary. Like, you just have to wait.
What made you, when you listened to the song that you're performing to, is it just one song, or have you edited like a few bits together?
It's just the one song. It's got a section in the middle that's very out of place compared to the rest of the music.
Oh, okay.
So it seems a little like it's edited together, but that's just how the track is. Which is something I like about it.
Yeah. What is that one of the main reasons why I like this one, and you stuck to it? Yeah.
I think, honestly, I knew I wanted to put, because even back then I was trying to think about something. What might I perform at an EJC open stage as well? And I knew I wanted to put quite a technical section in the middle we're in the act with 5 clubs, and I didn't want to put it at the end because I didn't want to end the act with something that was really going to stress me out. I wanted to put it in the middle where I had a bit more time and relied a little bit less on musicality, maybe, so I could do the sequence at my own tempo. And that was something I was already thinking about before I found the track. And then I found the track that has this like complete departure to this very floaty, ethereal section in the middle. And I was like, oh, great. 5 club sequence goes there. Done. And then I can end with 3 clubs again. I don't have to stress out too much about dropping the last trick of the act on the music cue, which always sucks.
Well, how did you, so you said you had like 2 years over COVID when you were building all of these tricks. How have you memorized all these tricks over a 2-year period?
Just video.
Just video, okay.
It took me embarrassingly long to really get in the habit of filming myself practicing, like really consistently filming myself practicing. I don't film my whole practice, but I improvise a lot in my practice session. And every time I hit some new sequence or series of movements that feels new, I film it straight away.
Wow. Okay.
And then honestly, when I'm putting the act together, I'm just going back through years and years of video, and it's almost like you're trying to re-inspire yourself, is how I describe it. Like, it's not even like I'm pulling directly sequences out from 2 years ago and using them. It's just like, oh yeah, I remember I was really excited about all this stuff where I would multiplex and 180 in and then 180 out instead of continuing a 360, and that kind, oh, that's right, that was a whole thing I did for 2 months back then. All these different variations on that one thing.
How
that
much
will then make its way into a sequence.
Yeah. How much time do you regularly spend on rewatching the videos that you filmed?
Not much.
Not much.
Not much. I try and trim them all down to just the 10 seconds that is useful.
Yeah.
And then I put them all in folders organized by rough vibe on my laptop. And then before I go training, I just like blast through as many as I can while I'm like eating my breakfast, just so it's all sitting on the surface of my brain, and then it's not very systematic, but it's like, I just want to have everything floating, easily accessible. So then when I'm building something later in the day, it's all just there.
Cool, Joe.
That seems really nice.
Really cool.
Like a great way to kind of inspire yourself and coming up with new stuff and actually applying the new stuff, since it's I guess that you can make tons of new tricks and sequences in one practice, but to remember everything and what felt good, what didn't feel good, and to remember it some years later, it's a totally different thing. So
I wish I had done it earlier.
Yeah.
In 2020 was the first time I really got in the habit of like being diligent about filming my stuff. And in 2 months, I had so much filmed from normal training sessions that was so useful that I would have forgotten. It just horrified me.
Wow.
It made me think, for 10 years, 15 years before this, how much have I lost?
Yeah.
By just forgetting it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a terrifying stare into the abyss.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But very useful.
I'm wondering, Joe, if we go a little bit back to your act now, since you mentioned that you actually performed this act in Madrid on EJC, but you have made some changes. What are the changes that you've made?
Minor ones. They feel big to me. To the observer, they probably aren't huge. I've taken out anything that felt like a placeholder trick. So because I put it together quite fast, there were, in the act when I first performed it, there were some stretches of time that I just had nothing or didn't have time to make a sequence for, or didn't have time to find the right trick for. And so I filled a few stretches of time with what felt like placeholder tricks. Like, here's a pattern that kind of makes sense that I can just run for this duration.
Yeah.
But it sort of feels like when I watch the act back, there are a few points where it's not quite in the same family of movement, maybe, or it feels the trick feels too fast or slow for the moment, or a certain sequence or movement just feels a little bit out of place. And so every time I've revisited the act, it's like almost like you're rounding the edges a bit and just pulling everything into the same world and making all the juggling make a bit better sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
I've also just tried to get better at, there's a big 5 club sequence in the middle, and I've tried to get better at that and drop it less. And I think I've achieved that to some degree.
Wow.
It's a little more musically timed now. Like, I've become comfortable enough with some of the 5 club juggling that it follows the cadence of the music a bit better.
Yeah. What tricks or sequences are you most worried about in your act?
I think, okay, there are 2 answers to that question. There are the tricks in the act that are the most difficult, and there are the tricks in the act that I am most nervous about dropping. And they're not the same. Because in the construction of the act, I've tried to, anything that is more technically on the edge, I've tried to put in a place where if I drop it, it doesn't matter so much, or I have time afterwards to recover, or I have time before to sort of take a breath before I try the trick. So there's a 5 club 97531 followed by a big 4 club multiplex line thing,
Nice. Wow.
which is technically quite difficult. And then that goes straight into like some very low triples that go into singles. And that's definitely the most technical part of the act. But all of those tricks have a lot of breathing room. And the tone of the act at that moment, if I drop, we're all friends by that point. We're all okay with it.
Yeah.
So I'm not nervous about dropping those tricks so much, if that makes sense, even though they're the most difficult. The first sequence and the last pattern are the things that I have nightmares about dropping. With the first sequence, I do a very hard throw up and catch it all the way up here, and it's right on the start of the big music punch, and it is quite a long sequence. And if I sorry, I got if I mess up the first couple of catches of that sequence, then it just lets all the air out of the whole thing, and I hate it. It's happened a couple of times on stage, and it's just like it's a pain in the ass, because it's this moment in the act where I'm like, all right, here we go, watch this, how cool am I? And then I start, and then the club goes flying away, and we're all there a bit sad together. And then right at the end, the act ends with a 3-club pattern that comes to a finish right on the end of the music. And dropping that also just feels like it lets the air out of the room a bit.
Yeah.
Because it's not necessarily the most spectacular or challenging trick.
Yeah.
It just is a nice finale because it's intensely rhythmic and intensely musical and ends right at the perfect moment.
Wow.
And I've dropped that once, and I did not like that.
I'm wondering, are you also the most excited about the same things that you are worried about?
That's a good read, and I think you're exactly right. And that's also why I don't like dropping them, because I'm like, I just like those parts of the act.
Yeah.
And it's it feels a bit sad when you get to a bit that you're really excited to show people, and then you mess it up.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, hell yeah. I can't wait.
It's going to be great. And also, like, this is an EJC gala. It's not a gala at a different place. It's on the EJC.
It's the one.
How is that different or special in a way? Does the fact that it's on EJC actually change anything for you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm going to be absolutely breaking it. I'm going to be so nervous.
Understandably.
But
why?
Because, I mean, in some ways, jugglers are the most forgiving crowd there is. They are so much more understanding of drops than most other crowds. But at the same time, like, I don't know, at least for me, performing at an EJC gala has been a bucket list thing for most of my life.
Wow.
It's something I've never done before. And to me, it feels like the biggest stage in the world of juggling, maybe. Wow. And it's just such an exciting thing. It feels to me very prestigious and very, young Joe is very excited that I get to perform here.
Yeah.
So it'd be a shame to come out and then muck up my 5-club cascade. It just feels like it makes me so excited to show this amazing audience something that I'm proud of. It also makes me nervous.
Yeah.
But I can't wait. It's such a bucket list item.
Yeah. I think it's so well designed. Joe, you're such an incredible juggler and performer. Connecting the two together, it's phenomenal. Really, really excited to see the act.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I'm wondering
I
now.
can't wait to do it.
A final question. What do you expect from the audience?
Ooh.
Or what do you hope to see from the audience?
I hope very much that they'll like it. It would feel pretty sad if people weren't into it. But I think also every time I've ever been to an EJC gala, and I've been to 3 or 4 maybe in my life, I have been so excited for what I'm about to watch. And it's just the most incredible, like, you're about to see some really amazing stuff and some really interesting, and I'm always so excited to be there watching. And so I am excited to be on the receiving end of that anticipation from the audience. I think that's going to be every gala I've gone to has just felt electric before it begins, and everyone's doing the, like Mexican waves and stuff.
Yeah.
And everyone's doing that thing where they have to stand up and spin around because they're French, and then they sit down. So, like, I'm really excited to be backstage hearing all of that going on for the show that I'm about to be a part of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing, Joe. Thank you so much. Me, Lewis, and I, we're going to be super excited as well as the audience, and you're going to do great. You're amazing,
can't
and
wait.
it's going to be awesome to watch.
Love you guys. Can't wait
Yeah,
to see
me
you
too.
there.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be
All
there?
right.
Are you gonna have like a live? You're gonna be there at a desk with like live commentary or something, like headphones on, mics on,
That would be sick, actually.
That would
in
be
a little booth,
Live
like they have
commentating on
at
the
sports
gala.
games.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome. I would download that commentary track.
We could do that for funnies. Yeah.
I mean, there are like 3 or 4 performances, I think. So you should, at least for one of them, you
Oh,
should do a
yeah.
live commentary.
Is there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Amazing, Joe. Thank you so much for joining us, and let's end up with this one. Come on.
Go-
You.